They saw her every morning, calm, confident, unshakable, a smile that never cracked, a voice people trusted without question. For years, she was part of millions of lives, the kind of presence that felt permanent, predictable, safe, the person who brought the world into your living room and made it make sense. She was the one delivering the news. She was never supposed to become it, or at least, that's what everyone believed. Because behind the lights, behind the cameras, behind the carefully controlled image the world had grown used to, there was a moment, a quiet one. No audience, no applause, no script, just a feeling. Something small, almost nothing, easy to ignore, a lump. At first, it didn't seem real. It couldn't be, not her, not someone who had spent decades projecting strength and certainty. Not someone who had built a career on composure. But doubt has a way of growing. So she checked. Then she waited. And in that waiting, time slowed down. Because waiting for answers is a different kind of fear. It's not loud. It doesn't scream. It sits quietly in your chest and tightens with every passing second. And then the answer came. Breast cancer. Just 2 words. But they carried the weight of everything. Everything she had built. Everything she thought she knew, everything she believed was under control, gone, just like that. Joan Lunden wasn't just a television icon anymore. She was a patient, and nothing prepares you for that shift. Not experience, not confidence, not even strength. Because cancer doesn't ask who you are before it arrives. It doesn't care about your reputation. It doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care how strong you appear. It just changes your life, immediately. For years, she had been the familiar face of Good Morning America. A constant, a presence, someone people trusted without ever thinking twice. She looked like someone nothing could touch. But that's the illusion of television. You see the image. You don't see the reality behind it. You don't see the fear that creeps in when the cameras are off. You don't see the moments of silence. You don't see the thoughts that won't go away. And now, she was living in that reality, processing something that changes not just your body, but your identity. Because the question isn't just, will I survive? It becomes, who am I now? Do you stay the same person the world expects? Or do you allow yourself to be seen as something different? Something vulnerable? That was the real battle. Because being strong in private is one thing, but being vulnerable in public? That's something else entirely. At first, there's silence. The instinct to protect the image. To hold on to the version of yourself that people recognize. Because once you let go of that, you can't take it back. People will see you differently. They'll speak to you differently. They'll look at you and see the illness before they see you. And that fear is real. But so is what comes next. The treatments. The long days that feel even longer. The exhaustion that doesn't leave, no matter how much you rest. Chemotherapy, it's not just a word. It's a process that changes everything. The body weakens, energy disappears, and then the visible changes begin. Hair loss. For some, it might seem small, but it isn't, because it's a reflection. A moment where you look at yourself and realize, life is no longer what it was. And for someone who had spent years in front of cameras, being seen, that moment hits differently. Because now, the change isn't just internal. It's undeniable. It's visible. It's real. And that's when the choice becomes unavoidable. Hide it, or face it, not just privately, but publicly. Because the world is still watching, still expecting, still seeing the same person they always have. But she wasn't the same anymore. And that's where everything shifts. Not in the diagnosis. Not in the treatment, but in the decision. Because at some point, survival isn't just about getting through it. It becomes about what you do with it. And she made a choice. She stepped forward, not as the polished version people were used to, but as the real version. The one going through it. The one feeling it. The one fighting it. She spoke about it, shared her journey, let people see what was really happening. And in doing that, she broke something. The illusion, the idea that strength means perfection. That strength means hiding. That strength means pretending everything is okay. She showed something different. That strength can be honest. That strength can be vulnerable. That strength can exist even when fear is present. And people responded, not just as viewers, but as individuals who saw themselves in her story. Women facing the same diagnosis. Families dealing with the same uncertainty. People who felt alone suddenly didn't, because someone they trusted, someone they had watched for years, was going through it too. And she wasn't hiding. She was facing it openly, and that changed everything. Her story stopped being just her own. It became shared. It became a voice, a message, a reminder about awareness, about early detection, about facing reality instead of avoiding it. And through it all, the battle continued. Treatment after treatment, day after day, moment after moment. But something was different now. She wasn't just enduring it. She was using it, turning pain into purpose, turning fear into something meaningful. Because surviving something like that is powerful, but using it to help others, that's something else entirely. That's impact. And impact doesn't go unnoticed. Because while the world saw her as a television icon, what she became was something more. A symbol of resilience. A reminder of what it means to keep going, even when you don't know how things will end. And that's what caught the attention of WWE, because the Warrior Award was never about wrestling alone. It was about something deeper. Strength, courage, perseverance. The kind that doesn't need a ring. The kind that doesn't need an audience. The kind that happens in real life. And in 2016, they saw that in her. WWE Hall of Fame 2016. The stage is different. The atmosphere is different. This isn't about storylines or rivalries. This is about reality. Her name is called. Joan Lunden walks onto that stage, not just as someone people recognize, but as someone people understand. Because her story isn't distant. It's not fictional. It's real. And in that moment, everything comes together. The diagnosis, the fear, the decision to speak, the impact. All of it leads here. Because being a warrior was never about being fearless. It was about feeling fear and moving forward anyway. And that's exactly what she did. She didn't just fight cancer. She changed the conversation around it. She gave it visibility. She gave it honesty. She gave people permission to face it without shame. And that's what made her different. That's what made her deserving. Because some battles aren't fought in arenas. They're fought in silence, in hospital rooms, in moments where no one is watching. And those battles are just as real, just as difficult, just as important. Joan Lunden spent years telling stories the world needed to hear, but her greatest story was the one she lived. A story of resilience, of transformation, of choosing to stand in truth instead of hiding behind fear. And that story didn't end when the treatment did. It continued. Through every person she inspired, through every life she touched, through every moment someone chose to get checked, to speak up, to fight. Because real strength doesn't fade. It stays. It spreads. It matters. And maybe that's what being a warrior really means. Not perfection, not fearlessness, but the decision to keep going, no matter what.